these ETs, and the human race. And that ambassadorship basically is a position where you would get a direct introduction. And I'm not necessarily saying every person on the street, but certain key people who can make a difference in terms of what we're trying to accomplish, primarily dealing with the whole of the freedom movement or the ideology of removing the problems that we've had. And this is primarily what Cobra was talking about, and obviously, as you can hear, what Lady Dragon gleaned from the interview. Lady Dragon, I'd like to bring Minuteman on and kind of switch gears just a little bit. Minuteman, are you out there?
Minuteman?
Yes, sir. I'm sitting right here, Great.
Okay.
Hello, Minuteman.
Hello, Lady Dragon. How is my sister in Canada today?
Very good. Thank you, dear. How about yourself?
Oh, well, we're getting along with life out here in the middle of hill country. I made me a new buddy, by the way. I don't know if, just to get a little laugh out of today's show, I guess. My wife had to look this little joker up on the computer because we've got this green-looking cricket that's very large and has these glowing red eyes. And I've been sitting here within inches from this fella just wondering who he was. Well, my wife looked him up as a greater arid land katydid, also known as the red-eyed devil. Very highly aggressive. It's a predator. He eats bugs. He doesn't even eat plants. And will bite and draw blood. He doesn't seem that mean to me. He's just sitting right here, bang, or just seems like he's enjoying my company and I'm enjoying his. These katydids just started showing up here 2 years ago. However, they're supposed to be from around here and have been for a while, but we just started seeing them here the past 2 years. So, of course, he's a fascinating little fella to me. And, well, of course, we're not going to hurt him if he eats bugs. He can eat all the bugs he wants.
Well, he wants to listen to the show, too. That's why he came.
Yeah, I think so. I think he wanted to be part of the show today, and, well, he is now.
Well, let's see here. Okay. I have been finding a lot of questions dealing with rights. And that's one of the reasons I wanted both Lady Dragon and Minuteman on here. As in case people don't know it, Lady Dragon is facilitating the freedom of Canada. That's exactly what she's doing, so you might want to give her a little bit more credibility than she might seem like, and please forgive her problem with the translation between French and English. I understand I understand the problem to the extent that I stutter because I'm not supposed to say certain things on the air, and no matter how mad I get about whatever's going on. So I understand that hesitation. Now, the reason I wanted to break this down a little bit is that a lot of people are concerned about what happens to me, what happens to this, that, or the other thing when we start making these changes. And I decided that it would be a good time to go and take a look at rights. Now, Terry Hinkle did an absolutely excellent presentation on unalienable rights. I could not find fault one with her presentation of it. These are the God-given rights that each individual has on the face of this planet. You have two types that people are familiar with. You got the unalienable rights. A lot of people aren't real familiar with that, but everybody knows what civil rights are. Civil rights are given to a person by a civil authority, meaning that it is a privilege given to you by the government. That privilege is something that may or may not be there at the time that you really need it. And I'm going to give everybody a good example of that. Whether people like it or not, one way or the other, I was raised right dead in the middle of the civil rights movement. The reason I was that most of my parents were involved in it. They looked at people they knew who just happened to be of a different color of skin and discovered that both people bled the same color, believed mostly the same sorts of things, and were a part of what is known as the human race. This includes every known race or tribe or group of people on this planet. There are a few exceptions. Yes, there are a few aliens among us, but what I'm talking about is you, me, guy down the street, somebody you might meet accidentally or whatever, that you've never met before, is a little different. These people have been afforded a definition of something that was God-given, and the definition is called civil. Now, being civil means that you don't go out of your way to antagonize and or degrade somebody in terms of your language towards them. That's what being civil means. It also goes along with intent and purpose. You can say good in a number of different ways, and a couple of them ain't so good. And some people have probably found that out, one form or another. It's like finishing mom's sentence. She goes, "I'm sick," and you say, "and tired." Whoops. Very simple. You get a problem with that, usually a broom or something else. The idea of civil rights came about due to the fact that people did not recognize the unalienable rights, that your rights end where another person's nose begins. The fact that you would much rather have a person act towards you as you would really like to act towards them. In other words, it's the golden rule, very simply. The unalienable rights of equality takes care of the civil rights movement. Lock, stock, and barrel. You treat everybody right, irrespective of the color of their skin. You look at a person according to the content of their character, as Martin Luther King pointed out, and you don't judge them. That ain't your place. That ain't my place. I refuse to judge people. Now, that don't mean that there ain't some people I know need desperately to have the whatever choked out of them. There's a lot of those, and I will call them politicians for want of some of the nastier four-letter words I could use to describe them. The basis of it is this, and I want to point this out very clearly. When a people decide as a whole that they are no longer going to cooperate, then there is no manner of control, coercion, or force that can cause them to take any kind of action. Now, I have stipulated, reiterated, regurgitated, and jumped up and down about a thing called community. And we have, in terms of listeners, in terms of participants, in terms of people who have gone a little extra, in terms of trying to make the effort towards freedom work, we've had a lot of efforts. We've had a lot of blood, sweat, and tears put into a lot of this. Several people have given their lives. Some people got their children killed over this. Very serious matter. But community, and who I'm speaking to are anybody who's made a call. And I'll tell you why. Because the Pentagon is full up of it. They've had enough. Now, the contact, according to the preacher, stipulates that they are in a position to take action within a very short period of time. So I'm going to request that everybody quit calling. They did the thing that I asked them to do in the open letter to the military, and that was to state that they will take definitive action in very short order. This may take a couple days, might be a little bit longer. The man said within a 2-week period for sure. So you need to start preparing on a local basis. That's one of the reasons I got Minuteman on here. Minuteman has been involved in militias. I think he probably grew up on them. They put him in his Cheerios or something when he was a kid, or something along those lines. The base idea, I Got a Freedom, came from the John Wayne apple pie and the American way. Yahoo, grab the flag and go up the hill. I don't recommend combat, and yet I recommend that same kind of patriotism, where you are not afraid to display the flag proudly because it's yours and does not belong to the dink, nasty, crooked whatevers that are in charge or think they are. And will only be for a short period of time, according to certain sources. People that are not afraid to stand up when the colors go by in a parade. There was a picture that was going around for quite a while on the internet, and it showed a guy in a wheelchair. He stood up when the colors went by, and they put a caption under there, "The only man standing," and I saw others that were standing as well, so I can't quite agree with that, but I get the gist of what they're saying. I've also known, as many have experienced, Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan. You had your patriotism used, and that is a sacred commodity to me. It's sort of like taking the innocence of someone and using it to your advantage and benefit, and not necessarily for something nice. And these things have been promulgated. They call them wars, they call them police actions, they call them a lot of things. I know what I call them. I went to war, and one of the first things that got murdered was all the things that I believed in that were good, that I'd been raised on. The second thing that got murdered was my sense of humor. And the third thing that got screwed up thoroughly was my peace of mind. About once or twice a week, I'm right back in Vietnam, just like it was yesterday, at least, sometimes more often. It's always unsettling when you end up back on the battlefield because you got problems. Now, I'm going to start offering some things in combination with everything else I've been doing. And I'll get to that in a few minutes. But the idea between the difference between civil and unalienable rights is that the unalienable rights are the superior rights, period. Your government don't give you squat other than a tax bill. Think about it. Dad left home and all he left us was alone. I mean, you know, there's a lot of songs about this sort of thing. Scrimp and save and get a little going, and you think you got it made, and you turn around, there's Uncle Sam got his hand down your pants. That's lyrics to a song that I'm going to send to some people so we can play it on this show. There are a lot of things that are illegal. One of those is taxes, among other things. The intended enforcement of unconstitutionalities of all kinds. The regulation of things started out the control. The control then morphed into law. The law then became the butterfly that you see. It's red, white, and blue. It looks okay, sort of, on the outside, but that sucker's rotten on the inside. It's a bagworm looking to lay eggs on your trees and your fruit. It's the aphids that eat up your plants. This thing is rotten not because of necessarily its structure or anything about it other than the people involved. This is my reason for attending to Mr. Holder in the manner that I'm looking at attending to him. Now, if you still want to call in, I would